Good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, good day to you. I am Rickie Byars, and no, I'm not. I am Life Coach Ade, co-host of Soulful. Rickie is not here today. Now you need to get that out your system. KS is in the house, but get that out your system. Go. Now come back to your center because she has prepared a place for you, for us. Hey, Dee Dee, nice to see you. And also joining me, we have a special guest, the powerhouse, the magnificent, the scribe, the oracle, the voice, the balancer of heaven and earth. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Dorothy James. Hello there, my dear sister. How are you doing?
I am doing great, Ade. How are you?
I am wonderful. I'm wonderful to be like doing something different here. And the folks are stepping in. Dee Dee's here. KS Lovelace.
Come on
Maxine is
in.
in the house. Anna
Come
Marie's
on
in the
in.
house. Kiana is in the house with her
Oh,
calligraphy. Hey, 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 my dear sister.
oh,
So
all these
yes,
beautiful
we are.
souls.
We Dorothy James. I don't know for whatever reason lately. I don't know. It was like when I try and say your name, it's like I stumble on it. So I have to say
Hey.
Dorothy. I got to slow it down. Dorothy James. If I do it too fast, I roll down the stairs. She's our special guest, and Rickie might be
Yes.
popping in the chat room. So watch out. If you see Rickie, let us know. She might even pop in on the screen.
Hey,
We'll see.
yeah. She might just dial right on in.
Yep. She's
Knowing
like,
Ricky,
knowing her. So, how are you doing, Dorothy?
I'm doing great today. It's Wednesday, what they call the hump day.
No, 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 no. It's
What do you
doing
call it?
no more Wednesday.
It's the do. That's right. Do it no mo.
Ain't nobody humping nothing. Oh, maybe anyway. We do it no more. Do it no more.
Do
Let's
it
just
no
stay out of
mo.
that.
Yes, love it, love it, love it. Yeah, I'm blessed today. How about yourself, Ade?
I am good. I sometimes I take a nap before the
Yeah, yeah.
show because it's a little after 2 a.m. here. And around 11:30 my time, I thought, yeah, it's a good idea to take a nap. But when you're getting ready to go to sleep or take a nap, it takes some time to actually get to sleeping or napping. So by the time I got to bed, it was like quarter after 12. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have a lot of time to nap. So
Oh,
it was around the 15-minute hour that my body was like, ooh, this feels good. And then I had to wake up. I was like, no, not right now, not right now. But my day has been pretty good. And I always look forward to this. Rickie and I talked earlier today. And she's like, I'm not in town, but the show must go on. I'm like, what do you need me to do? I got it.
come on. Hey, Cheryl Williams.
Yes, yes, yes. Hey, Cheryl. So you and I, we got some things to talk about. We might be playing some music. We're trying to work some things out and see how it works. But
Yes,
you and I were having a conversation at the before the show, which often happens anyway.
yes.
We were talking about ancestors, and I want to like get into your business a little bit, if you don't mind sharing it. So you've been walking this ancestral journey, this healing journey in a new way. How long have you been? Well, you're not a Sangoma yet. Well, you can tell us the whole story. So tell us about this. I think it's a new experience. Oh, look
Well,
what is happening. Hold on. I just see something. Whoa, wait a minute. I told you. I told y'all. When I told you, you gotta believe me. I know what I'm talking about. Oh, look what happened.
Ricky.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
But is my voice broken up? Because you were
a
breaking
little
up
bit.
over here.
Yeah, it's breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I don't want to be breaking up. Hey,
Hmm.
Dorothy
Hey, Ricky.
and Life Coach Ade.
Hey, hey,
Yeah,
hey.
yeah, it's been quite a day, and
How's Uncle George?
He's doing great. But it's just getting internet right now. There's a little something that went.
And Rickie will be back.
She'll be back. She'll be back.
I told you she'll pop in. I told you she's going to jump in.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your journey. And
yeah, until she pops back in.
yes.
So it's not really new Ade. It's the Sangoma, the connection is new. I started this journey of the ancestors in 93 in the passing of my father. And the experience I had, I was not prepared for it. I had not been prepared for it.
Say more about that. Yeah, I think she's still freezing. Were you out moving slow? I don't know why it's even looking like that. Yeah, she's having some internet. Okay, so you were saying when your dad passed, you weren't expecting. Tell us about.
I wasn't really expecting to feel and experience what happened, which was I felt closer to him. I felt like the ways about him became alive in me. And there was an awakening and a broadened awareness in my life, in the world. And I felt like I was in tune with him and communicating with him. And I said, am I losing my mind? Nobody had prepared me for this because, we've been in church. I had been in church all my life. And, Jesus don't do that,
I won't go and say nothing.
It's in your heart, it's in the word, and it's all in all these places, but it's not really in you in a tangible way like it was when he passed, and I felt him stronger than I ever had.
Were you feeling him the day he passed or 7 days after?
Let me tell you something, okay? Now this may sound a little woo-woo, but I'm gonna say it.
Not to me.
My father passed at like 3 a.m. in the morning, a Friday morning. And I went home after the passing and got some sleep. And my mother said, be back in the morning and we're going to make the arrangements. That was after the mortuary picked up the body and everything. And I came back in the morning. And when I walked in, my sisters and everybody was in the house. And all of a sudden, somebody went like this, tapped me. And I turned around to look to see who it was. Nobody was there. Then there was a yank on my arm. And I said, I'll see you guys later. And I left out the house. I left. I just left. And I got home and I called my mom and I said, Mom, I think Dad's still in the house. And my mother kind of just got quiet, like she didn't get any sleep this past week.
She lost her mind.
She was like, oh.
So much for the Holy Ghost is in the house. But no, you don't talk about Dad is still alive. But go ahead.
Okay. But it was an experience. That was the beginning of it. And it just, it expanded and until it became the norm for me. But once I learned of Sangoma, I said, there's the evidence, there's the proof. This is a traditional, this is real. And that's how the Sangoma, that's how my journey, my spiritual journey with Sangoma has strengthened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Powerful.
It is indeed, because I think about, hey, Badia on IG, thank you for being here. I think of what you're saying and what it brings me to is the spiritual walk. And I like to say a conscious spiritual walk because we're all on a spiritual journey, whether we know it or not. And if people say I'm not, then so be it. But I believe all of us are. But there's something happens when we shift and we start walking the walk consciously. And it's about tapping into the invisible. And it's often the realm that we are conditioned out of at a certain age.
Yes.
And then we try to get back into it. We try to get back into it. Like we want to have a direct experience of the divine, yet we're so afraid. And so I'm laughing because I'm constantly talking to spirit and getting downloads. And then sometimes I feel so embarrassed to be sharing the
Ade, you're a
story.
shaman. You're a real shaman. That's what
I
you really
know.
are.
I'm like, I don't even know. It's coming up, so I'm going to share it. So I think it was about 2 weeks ago. And I was like, I just want a deeper experience. And sometimes when I'm asking or sharing what I'm sharing, I'm like, come on, you already know this. But then it's like, I wonder if it's my head. But I'm like, I just want to, in this moment, I want to have an experience just to go deeper. And I remember I was shaving, looking in the mirror, shaving. And I heard a sound.
Mhm.
I know what it sound came. I looked at my door. It looks like it was closed, but the key on the door was jingling. I was like, "What the hell?"
Oh,
And
you
I
weren't
cracked
ready
up at
for it.
myself. It's like, are you really? What? Are you afraid? And then another friend of mine had similar experience, and they were sharing that. That's why it's even more funny because
Yes.
my point is sometimes we ask for a deeper experience of God, the divine, the universe, whatever name we want to call it. And it often happens outside of the norm, what we think is normal and what is real and what is physical. And
Yes.
when it does happen sometimes, we're like, hey, don't scare me, spirit.
Back up.
So I think sometimes we do this schizophrenic kind of walk when it comes to our spiritual walk. What do you think?
Well, that's a part of Gogo Ikaya's. She was diagnosed when she started having those spiritual
Mhm.
experiences and she could not explain them. She went to the doctor. She thought she
Mhm.
was schizophrenic, bipolar, because she works in that field.
Yes.
And, but what lo and behold, as it began to go further and increasingly the energies were coming to her more powerfully, she
Mhm.
realized that it was not an illness, it was a gift.
Mhm.
It was a gift. And that's what we have to understand. The gifts of God, you know, are naturally in us,
Yes.
you know. But if our minds have been conditioned differently, I talk about like energy. Your cell phone doesn't have a wire to it. You don't know how
Mhm.
it works, but you use it.
Mhm.
The technology of the cell phone is invisible. It's in the invisible.
Mhm.
It's in the energies. They're using the energies
Mhm.
that you cannot see.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
why can't a God or us or all of us with God nature in us, why can't we not have these experiences?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You know.
And knowing that God is all there is. So if God is all there is, the experiences that we can have is oftentimes when we really surrender to is beyond definition. So I want
Yes.
to two things that's happened to me side by side, but I want to start with Gogo Akaya, who is the person you're working with, right? The
Yeah.
shaman.
Yes.
And I've met her before. I've interviewed her. Well, I haven't met her. I interviewed her. We talked on the phone. And I remember when I found her on YouTube, and it was just so heartwarming because I heard somebody speak into depression, bipolar in a way that was wholesome.
Yes.
And how life had it, God had it, that she was working in that place. And it was actually the experience that she had when she was having suicidal thoughts and even having her own breakdown is what led her
Yes.
to the work. So
Yes.
sometimes the things, if not all the time, the things that we're going through that we think it's painful and challenging is actually something seeking to break open.
Come on.
Mm.
Yes. That's it. That's
Yep.
it. And nobody wants to go through, everybody wants the sunshiny day. But I'm
Yeah.
sorry. The sun does come out every day, but sometimes there's clouds
Mm.
in front of it.
Mm.
The
Mm.
rain,
Yes.
that's just not life.
Hmm. Hmm. There's something else you shared, and it's sort of like bring it even deeper because one of the things that I believe right now is one of the most powerful way to healing, to recognize that we are already healed, to recognize the healing that is expressing itself as us. We are the embodiment of wholeness, of healing, of God, of love, of joy. We are the embodiment of it. So
Yes.
sometimes we just have to decondition, decolonize our minds, right?
Come on.
And
Decolonize.
so
I
being
like
able
that.
to just think differently. So for me, I feel like the quickest way and the most powerful way to doing that right now, especially in this time where I believe the energy on the planet is speeding up. And I'm
Yes.
finding that the best way to catch up with this fast vibration is to slow down.
Yeah.
Trying to catch up with it, I'll burn myself out.
That's right.
So I'm finding out also that this ancestral work
Yes.
is the quickest way to bring us back to ourselves. And you shared something earlier before the show, which I just felt it move through my body when you talked about the link between ancestors and wealth. Can you speak to that?
Oh, of course. Not
Mhm.
only do we have the wealth of the spirit of God, but the wealth of the land. You know,
Mm,
if you're a biblical student, you know that in the Old Testament, the wealth was passed, you know, the cattle, the land, all that was transferred down to the next generations and the generations to come. But not in this country. One of the things that we see has happened to us by not really staying close to our ancestry and really following their ways
mm,
was our wealth was taken from us.
mm.
Now, wealth in this country is passed down from generation to generation. Your
Yeah.
wealthiest families in this country have estates that they
Mm.
can hold money tax free for 5 to 6 generations out,
Hmm.
for each generation.
Go ahead. I'm here. Go ahead.
You hear? So what we have to remember is that when we think of ancestry, we think about the richness of their intelligence, the gifts they had, what made them wealthy. What was your grandmother a teacher? Was your grandfather maybe he was a blacksmith? Whatever they did, the gift in it was a gift of wealth. So their land, whether they had land or not, or whether it was stolen, many times it was not passed down to us
Mm,
to gain the wealth from it. So we've been cut off from from different generations. We've been cut off from even the wealth of our
mm.
foreparents. Black Wall Street. So they have, and when I say they, I'm talking about the colonization. They have
Mm,
maintained the wealth. That's how they transfer the wealth. That's how it's supposed to happen. It's ancestral.
mm,
So we have to remember there is a practice of ancestral going on in the
mm.
very system we live under. So, but we've got to realize we have a wealth of spiritual strength and we need to
Yes.
connect and align with all of its ways.
Yes. So we're all really in a time where we can literally represent our ancestors
Come on.
because that wisdom, right? The cell memory of the wealth of the past, even the part that wants to be healed lives in us.
Yes.
And I think sometimes one of the things I've learned about this ancestral work and just the human development is some of the disease that runs in the family is not a biological thing. It's a spiritual thing that wants to be healed. It's a truth that wants to be expressed. And, we all have ancestors, every one of us, whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're in between or almost here, not here yet. And we are all future ancestors. We are we're going to be ancestors at one point in time. And I
Yes.
think the more, for me, I know my experience, the more that I have just spent more time listening, asking for guidance, and remembering that my ancestors are not here.
Right.
My ancestors are here.
Here. That's right.
It's a whole different experience. is a whole different experience. And part of what is coming up right now that we're seeing in society, whether it's politics, whether it's race, whether, there's protests in Cuba, there's protests in South Africa, there's craziness going on in Nigeria. It's happening all over the place in Israel. This stuff. And sometimes we look and we say, this is such a shame. The world is coming to an end. Well, the world is coming to an end as we know it.
Right.
Something new is being birthed. And we are the one to contribute, to support the birthing of the new earth.
That's right.
And it is often challenging when we're going through our own experience. We think it's just us. But right now, a lot of people that I know, myself included, are going through a transition. And sometimes Monday, I was just heavy. I took a nap. I woke up 30 minutes later. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't focus. But the vibration of the planet is moving. It's fast. And we're all experiencing it.
Yes.
We're all experiencing it. But it's not one of those things that could be shared on the news. Like, can you imagine a scientist say, well, we came out of this pandemic and now we're having so the vibration of the planet is moving fast and, Pluto is retrograded and we just came out of Mercury retrograde. So all of that is affecting our energetic body. They will take the certification of that scientist. They'll be like, what are you talking about? But because it's kind of happening in smaller communities, sometimes we think it's unique. But I really believe we're in the middle of awakening, right?
Yes, definitely. The subtle body, the energetic body, now more than ever before. I've been having some experiences with my body, and what science is even doing with our own bodies. I had a situation with my knee, and the PRP, which is a part of the stem cell studies, has just been awesome. And it's amazing what the body remembers, what it records, what it logs, because I am still stepping on this knee, exercising and walking. And, and somehow, some way, I'm always thinking, is that pain going to be there? Is that pain going to come back? Because my mind had become very conditioned to make that step. And when you feel that pain, and at the beginning, it was like, wow. I was expecting it, but it wasn't there because the body in its own way, in its own mind, which we need to align with. I was listening to Georgia say one day, she said, alignment. We've got to align with this because sometimes our minds are not there yet.
Yes.
Maybe our heart can be there. You're ready. But as you said, you saw that you saw that jiggling of the knob, and you were like, okay,
like, wait a minute,
quite aligned with it yet.
Yes, and I called for it too. That's even more crazy.
You called.
I called for it. I said, I want to see something right now. And the universe said, I got you here. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Hey, look at me out now. And how often do we pray? Do we ask for something when it shows up? Which, like right now, that's what's happening. I really believe that, what we prayed for, what we asked for, it's happening. And, and we got to, we don't got to do nothing. But what I will say is it's important for us to recognize that to heal a sense of separation, because we do this separation. We're separate from God. We're separate from our good. We're separate from family members who we can't stand. We're separated from the millennials. We're separated from the babies. So we say, oh, the millennials, they're so wise. Oh, the babies that are coming nowadays, that they know something we don't know. No, it's because we have cleared the path. The ones before us clear the path. The ones coming behind us, the millennials, the babies, they're the embodiment of a new thought.
Yes.
We thought it and they appeared. And if we start to recognize there is no separation, we can start embracing more of nature. We can pay more attention to nature. And the more we open our hearts and minds and consciousness to the oneness, We recognize ancestors are there here, and it doesn't even matter if you don't like some of what your ancestors did. There's some things that we're doing today that those who come behind us later on won't like what we did. So we might as well forgive ourselves right now.
That's right.
Because
Heal it.
everybody's making it up as they go.
Feel it. Heal it.
Mm.
It's clear, it's healing, and it's alive in us. So we can heal it. And I know I'm working on some ways that I have of my father and my uncle. My Uncle Ezel. I think of him often. Ooh, yeah, I got to heal Uncle Ezel.
You felt that for a minute. You want to say more about that?
He's a character. He's a character. And he comes up quite a bit because I watched him as a little child. He was the one that made me laugh all the time. And I've noticed some of my ways like him that I thought was funny, but I'm like, I gotta heal that one. Because Uncle was something else. But he was loving. He was a very loving man.
And I think we could segue into this because Susan said something. She said, I'm curious what happens to ancestral lineage when there are no children to carry it forward. What are your thoughts on that?
That what happens
what happened to the ancestral lineage when there are no children to carry it forward?
I personally believe that the blood that we carry is not necessarily sometimes the blood of an aunt who had a child, but maybe that aunt in me is also in my child. My mother's sister didn't have children, but my Aunt Sadie, who was around us and with us, and I would say a part of who we are and in us, one of my other sisters had a very close relationship with her. And she wasn't her mother, but my aunt was still in our lives. And I, when she passed, I had a dream of her. She came to me. So I don't believe that, yes, it's biological, but it's energy as well. And they have proven in science that the biological field is very different from the physical, because you can graft a plant into growing and integrating into another plant. So, and I think there was many occasions, even in the biblical texts, in the Bhagavad Gita, where you had members, people who didn't have children, but their families or their seed in the downline, they were relevant. They came up in the ways of their own existence. Yes.
I mean, there are no ancestors. There are no ancestors. There's no separation. There are no ancestors.
That's right.
Okay.
We're one. In the spirit realm, it's very powerful, and it's very, we're one.
And there are many ways. I just posted a link here. Ayana wanted to know about Gogo Akaya. I just posted the link and the video that I saw on YouTube. Who said men can't multitask?
Come on.
I can chew bubblegum and walk and dance and host a show now.
Oh, can you jump rope while you're doing all that?
Okay. And look like I'm meditating while I'm doing it all. Like, is he jumping rope, chewing bubblegum, or is he meditating? He's doing it all. How? But this whole thing about no separation, because I believe even when we speak to another, when we observe another, we're passing life breath onto them. So if it's a word that we passed on to a child, I mean, breath is life.
Yes.
So even if there are no children, physical children to carry on the lineage still gets extended through our energy, our breath, our presence.
That's right.
And how do we do that? How do we carry that lineage? It's how we live.
That's right.
How are we living? How are you living? How are we living? What are the thoughts that we're carrying? And if they're thoughts that we're thinking that we think is not in alignment with what we know to be true, it's for us to adjust it.
Yes.
It's not even work. It's not like, God forgive me. God is like, there's no point me forgiving you because I'm not holding any grudges. I can't. I am you. You get to change it. So the whether there is a physical representation of what we call a child or children, we are part of this one system. What happens to a leaf or leaves that fall off a tree during the
Yes.
fall, during the winter? They go
Yes.
back to the earth. We say the leaves are dead, but are they really? Because they feed the
They
tree.
feed the tree. Yes.
So there's this continuous cycle, right?
Right. And you know what comes to mind also is that um, a child, the way we think of conceiving children nowadays,
Mm,
conceptualizing children,
mm,
um, is usually a sexual act. But you have now people who are doing surrogate births.
mhm,
They're taking the eggs and they're taking the semen and putting it together. Birth, if we really want to understand conceptualization of new birth or creation, it's it's being studied in a different way,
mm,
in a way sometimes our minds cannot conceive. I was thinking about how in the Sangoma, we were talking one day, and we talked about how a child was conceived. The mother would go into the forest and she would feel the spirit of the child first.
mm,
She had not gone into the act of
mm,
any sexual or consummation yet. She's already conceiving the child, and then she gets a song,
mm,
and the child becomes a part of her as a song and a conception. That's birth right there.
mm.
That's creation
Yeah,
right there. And
yeah.
then there's a consummation, and then there's a child. And that song that she sang, that she received, is a song of that child. That song is sang to the child on the birthday. That song follows the child. And when the child leaves the world, they sing that same song to be sung no more. But it's a spiritual journey. All of it is.
If Rickie was here, if she wasn't playing There's a Song Inside of Me, I would say, could you play There's a Song Inside of Me right now?
You're picking Rickie up. See?
I didn't bring my piano to the studio. Forgive me. Like,
When you were talking, when you text me about it, I said, I'm not gonna get on my piano. I was thinking about Rickie, how she's just,
yes,
come on in. She's
yes,
multitasking. She sings and plays, and I'm like,
yes.
oh no,
Hmm.
I
Yep.
can't do Rickie. There's only one.
Nobody can do Rickie like Rickie does Rickie because there's only one
Okay,
Rickie and there's only
a
one Rickie to do
genius,
Rickie.
a genius.
But you know what you were saying earlier, it's like, yeah, I thought of the song. There is a song inside of me. There is
Yes,
a song inside of us.
yes,
And that song, when we release it, when we birth it, we're birth and we're keeping the ancestral lineage on and on and on. Because the physical body is going to return to dust.
right,
But the spirit, the consciousness,
right.
what's in the cells, the cell
That's right,
memory,
right,
it's the vibration that we left here,
right,
the vision that we conceived,
right.
the legacy that we lived. You
Yeah.
know, I was talking to someone Monday, and I won't use the name, but they have a name of a famous singer many years in America, and we were talking about some project they're working on. Now, I didn't. I just said to her, I said, you know, you may want to listen to, isn't there a famous artist known by your name and her name? And I remember the first name, but I couldn't remember the second name, but it came to me. And then I mentioned the person, and she said, oh my God, during my birth, they played her song over and over. Now, I didn't know this.
Wow.
I
Yes.
did not know this. And there were so many other things that we kind of shared. But she, in my sharing that,
Yes.
it woke things up in her.
In her. Yes. Yes. What song? What song are you? What sound will you leave? What
Yeah.
song are you? And when will the song be in the wind and the energy? Someone pick it up and sing all day.
Mm.
In the future. You know,
Hmm.
look at how Rickie get the downloads of the songs, and we're
Hmm.
singing this beautiful music.
Yes.
You know, it's such, it's such a beautiful. God is a song. The universe, verse
Yeah.
itself.
That's it.
Every song you have a
Hmm.
verse, and the
Hmm.
universe is made of sound.
Hmm.
So come on, come on. We've got a lot more. I don't know how
Yes.
anybody could be bored at this time because there's a
Yes.
lot more. There's an abundance and the
Yeah.
potentials.
Yes. I
Yes,
mean, we can go through Rickie's archive. Spirit say to sing your song, and I'm not just doing that because Rickie's not here, but
right.
this is song. I always feel like, well, we all have a unique gift,
Yes.
and when we commit to showing up for the gift or
Come on.
gifts, a sort of discipline happens. So when
Yes.
we tune in, we become a clear filter
Yes.
for the highest expression and vibration of what wants to come through. So as I listen to you and the question that Susan asked about what happens, when there is no children, and to remind us that we are all a song. What song are you? We say we're an instrument. All
Yes.
of that matters. And that's the thing about decolonizing our mind, because the colonized mind is like there's the past over there, there's the present now, and we're working hard to
Yeah.
make the future better.
Hmm.
A colonized mind. I read something today, a notification um, from BBC on my phone, and he said something about the EU. I think he said the EU just came up with a ambiguous plan around as it relates to global warming that would give humanity a fighting chance.
Mm.
And when I read that, I laughed.
Mm.
I'm like, give humanity a fighting chance. Fight what? First of all, the earth was here before us, and it would be here after us. And the earth is constantly replenishing itself. Now, we are part of it.
That's
We
right.
are one with it. And when we recognize that the earth, the atmosphere, the universe, we're one with it, we realize that we can replenish, that we can heal ourselves. And just because, and I don't minimize people who've lost family members, loved ones, but just because the body is not here doesn't mean they no longer exist.
That's
And
right.
depending on where we are, as you were sharing earlier, we become more open
Yes. Yes.
to
Yes.
their essence more than ever. So sometimes when they're in the physical body, we're distracted by their physical body, we're
Yes.
distracted by their personality and character, and they're like, oh,
Yes.
guess who's here today? Guess who called me today? Yeah, I just didn't have time to talk to her today. Oh, auntie called? Yeah, of course I'm talking about your auntie. Oh, what did she want this time? Yeah, she was talking about she hated her job. I said, no, this is doing no more Wednesdays. So I said, I gotta go, boo. But when auntie makes a transition and she's on the other side, she may be the one giving wisdom. Like, don't do that. Do
Yes.
this. That thing that you've
Yes.
been working on, this is the way to really go that direction.
Yes.
And whispers in
Yes.
us in our dreams.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. And so many of those things. I'm a dreamer as well. I was
Ah,
thinking,
yeah. Keep talking. I get excited that way. Yeah.
I'm such a dreamer, but I was thinking as you were
Mm.
talking,
Mm.
I have been like a doula for many of my friends' mothers who have crossed the veil, and
Mm.
being there with them, because we haven't been prepared for this. Our death is so sterile in this country. You
Yes.
take them as they're dying, you put them in an institution, and you leave them there, and it's so sterile
Mm.
and it's so far away from family. But I remember my mom and dad talking about, they knew the process. They knew that it was like a baby being born into, going into the eternity, and they knew the signs when the
Mm.
breathing changed and all of these signs, like a midwife.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm beginning to experience where more of my friends' mothers are coming to me after their passing.
Mm. Mm.
And, it's like, wow, being in their lives. And I just had an experience not too long ago where a dear friend mother passed, and I was awakened by footsteps coming into my bedroom. And I I I first said, okay, nobody's supposed to be in here. And I did the oath of sovereignty. And I was like, if you're not here for my highest good, you've got to go. But when I turned, when I turned over and took a look, it was all still and quiet. But when my phone rang, it was my friend. And I knew that her mother had passed. So her mother had her to dial me. She wasn't even trying to dial me.
Wow.
And when I saw her name, I said, Spirit said, her mother passed. And I picked up the phone and I knew what she was going to say. Because I had just connected with the energy of her mother. And I was telling her, we've talked since, it seems like since I made an offering to Yimaya for my own maternal healing, I'm realizing I'm getting the mothers. I'm getting the energies of mother, coming towards me. And so I'm just allowing, I'm just surrendering and letting it come, and the dreams and then a couple of days going, okay, that's why they sent this dream. That's what she was trying to tell me, It's a rich, rich, rich and wealthy life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you said you're getting the mothers. And to me, you carry that mother energy. You carry that mother. For me, when I see you and I look at you, you carry energy where, somebody who's trying to hold it together and they're trying to act like nothing is wrong. And when you give in my mind, it's my interpretation of you. I don't know if it's true, but you give them an embrace. They're like, oh, I needed this hug. And they start crying and bawling. Like, what? Because there is a sort of a love, a deep love. And, I think I do know that that's what's happening now. That mother energy is, I don't want to say it's back, but it's being amplified. We use
Yes.
different names. We say divine feminine. That mother nurturing energy is back. And sometimes we find ourselves feeling sad and we don't know why. Because there's some things that we need to grieve so we can live our lives fully.
Yes, come on.
How we're living today matters.
Yes,
It matters.
It does.
I'm thinking of, so go ahead.
No, go ahead. You said you were thinking of something.
I was thinking of, we started talking about ancestors, right? And then we've talked about dreams and death.
Yeah.
And as you were talking, I don't know if I have the words for it yet, but I'm really sensing they live in the same realm. There's, dreams, death, ancestors, God, the divine. It's in this realm, the invisible realm. And
yeah. Dreams is one of the 7 states of consciousness. So the dream realm is just as real as, and quantum physics is like, who's to say that in quantum physics, we're already, when something becomes relevant and real to us in the mind, it already exists.
Yes.
It already exists in time.
Yes.
Either time past or time present, or it could have existed all along and coming into manifestation. I mean, all these things that we're experiencing, calling technology, has already existed. It's just coming into manifestation now for use by someone who captures the wisdom of it, the energy of it, the power of it, and so in the dream state, which is a powerful state, I feel like I'm there, that it's like a different, another life. I go, why was I so familiar with the place? I knew how to get in the car and drive to this. I was just familiar with the place. It's a powerful thing, And then you had the dreamers in the biblical text. Those dreamers were able to tap into a time. You had Joseph who saw the famine coming. You come on, I can walk you down the line where the dream realm was a true realm, and then it came to pass. It's a part of prophecy.
Yes.
We'll call it prophecy, but that realm is a
Yes.
solid realm.
And the dream path, the dream land is the quickest way to the divine.
Yes.
And the symbols, and sometimes we may have dreams and we're thinking, oh my God, I can't believe I was doing that. What does that mean? Is a nightmare? No, there's a conversation, there's a communication happening from the invisible realm. And I've actually started to even go deeper because I dreams now part of my spiritual practice.
Yes.
I ask when I go to bed for clarity on some things that I'm dealing with.
Yes.
Last night, I was playing around because I've been listening to some things on YouTube, and there's this guy talked a lot about dreams, and he shared some of the text in the Bible about how people were tapping into messages. So last night I thought, let me just play around with this idea. I mean, just kind of like go deeper. And because I don't think in my dreams when I go to bed, I don't think I really, I may ask for some things to do with money or achieving something. But yesterday I said, I want to attract £1,000. That it would have been today. I was like, just give me the keys, show me the direction, the wisdom, the insight, the signs that I need. Now I don't quite have the £1,000 in my hands, but in my dream, I dreamt about my girlfriend's sister was showing me how to fill in a credit card, and I was trying to make a purchase, and she was telling me about the ins and out of credit cards. And in the dream, it was this one that she recommended. I was going to get 47% off the purchase I was making. And I was like, 47% off. So when I woke up, I was thinking, I don't know what that meant. But then I thought, wait, I did ask around money. So it could be. And sometimes dreams can continue. I mean, there's so many things we can say about dreams. But for me, I went to bed with the idea of money, and I had a dream. And I've had dreams where I've been given things to do. How much you charge for a service. The session I did a few months ago, representing our ancestors, representing our stories, came in a dream. I call it dream vision. Everything that I needed to do. And now that has started a new kind of a service that I offer, working with people, and just it's transformative. And I want to encourage people, pay attention to your dreams.
Are you doing some dream work, Ade?
Yes, I actually talked about a friend. I talked to a friend this Saturday who does the same thing, and the conversation was kind of cool. But it was, I don't know, there was something about the conversation. She was listening, so she's listening. This is my truth. Like we're good friends, but that conversation, she's been doing dream work for a long time. But I was talking about maybe doing some joint venture things. So the conversation was kind of like, I don't know if there's some things that she was dealing with. But then I thought, wait a minute. I can do this. I mean, I'm open to doing joint ventures. So I decided to start studying more around dreams, because for me, it has opened me up to that invisible realm, because that's more of us is in the invisible realm anyway.
That's right.
Maybe 5% of us is in the physical realm, and we're worried about that. But 95% is, if you can measure it,
that's right.
It's in the invisible realm.
That's right. That's right. Your body, your very body is in the invisible realm. Yes. So powerful. So
I like what you see what Susan has in the chat room. It's funny because when I said 47%, and I remember as I was saying it, I was thinking in my head, 4 + 7 = 11. And then I said, no, don't go down that path. You're doing the show. And she just said 4 + 7 = 11. Very spiritual. Yeah, it definitely was. And I did think someone would say something. But all of this is not just about, Dorothy and I sharing our experience, but really for me is to have conversations like this. It's a soulful conversations to affirm everyone that's listening, affirming ourselves. Because there's something in sharing that spiritual journey, that experience. And as we speak it, it's one thing to think it, another thing to speak it. And when you speak it, you feel it. Because the words are just embodied. The words are just the representation of the thoughts anyway. But we have access to so much.
Yes.
And I'm feeling this like in honor of those who walked this journey in the physical realm and have left. People, maybe their parents, their mother, their father, cousin, their friend, uncle, auntie, children, had made their transition past. We can take this moment to just honor the life, their journey,
Yes.
their presence, and to remember that they're with us, even while we're grieving, if we are grieving. While we miss them, they're with us. They have passed life unto us. They have passed on their gifts. They have passed on their laughter. Maybe they even passed on some of their bad behavior that we know that's not how you want to be.
Yes. Because when we feel and know that we are alive and they are alive in us,
Yes.
we heal. And as we heal, we're healing them.
Yes.
They're healing us. We're
Yes.
healing them as
Yes.
well. Healing is a very, very powerful spiritual technology.
Mm-hmm.
Healing is, prayer is. Understand, my father used to pray for people long distance before I knew about Reiki,
Mm.
and what Reiki was, the energy of it, so, our spiritual practices and that we do our holy work is so vital
Yes.
that we understand that that's doing the holy work is a part of our nature.
Yes.
All we're doing is coming back to remembering and saying, okay, let me settle down here. Let me gather myself together, because the distractions pull you apart. It just pulls you in all directions. But then when you can gather yourself back together again, do your holy work, breathe,
Yes.
pray,
Yes.
love, sing,
Sing, because there's a
sing
song
a song.
inside of you.
Yes, that song in you.
And you said love. I want people, well, personally, I want people to understand that love is not passive. Love is active. It's dynamic. Have you seen a mama bear? You go near a cub, you can say she's dangerous. No, she's protecting what she loves.
You better not go near my son in a threatened way.
You will snatch them up so quick.
You think Mama Bear is ferocious?
Yes. Yes. Love is active. And love calls for us to speak up. Love calls for us to show up. Love calls for us to say, no, not here. No more.
No.
And so being spiritual is not just about, well, I'm just now, I'm not making a judgment about it, but sometimes we do spiritual bypass. I'm just trying to hold my vibration. Now, if you're holding your vibration and grounding yourself authentically, you're real, and you're like, this is what spirit's guiding you to do. Yes. But sometimes you have to be that voice of change, of transformation. Like, no, hell no.
That's right.
Not, not on my watch. Like a Yana Van Zandt, not on my watch. That's
Right.
love. That's love.
That's love. It
Is
don't
what we're
always
talking
look
about.
cute.
It doesn't always look
Have
cute.
you ever seen a woman in labor
Yeah.
about to give birth?
Yeah, it don't look cute.
She ain't looking cute at all.
And she would say some words that, boy, if you're sensitive, you get your feelings hurt, but she ain't care about that.
But
She's
that's
like,
love.
that's love.
That
Yes.
is love. Yes. Yes, movement and the dancing, and
Mhm.
it's all one. And God, I love that saying you guys concluded last week. God is, and everything
And this is a
else
point
is
of view.
point of view.
Is it?
You
God
know?
is, and everything's a point of view. So stop tripping.
Yeah.
It ain't
Stop
that
it.
deep. It ain't that deep.
No,
It's not that
no.
deep.
It's a part of who you are.
Yes.
Just stop.
Stop it and return to love. And want to make some announcements about
Yes.
B Radio here. And also just want to acknowledge our sister, our friend, our mentor, ourself, Rickie Byars, for this
Yes.
space that she's created
Yes.
and just how she lives, her example.
Yes.
Just want to, through her example, she's showing us the way.
Absolutely.
She's showing us
Yes.
what is possible. And
Yes.
yeah.
Always.
So we have a responsibility to live the life that we have, that we own, that we are embodying, to live it. The best gift
Yes.
we can give to ourselves or others is the gift of living your life
Yes.
fully, however that is. Whatever you're going
Yes.
through, embrace it.
Embrace
All
it.
right. Well, we are getting ready to release this conversation, but before we do that, I want to remind you, bradio.org. Check it out. 24 hours sound of inspiration. bradio.org. You can check out Mondays with Sherlock Byers, and his show is at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And then we have Sacred Intonations with Beverly
Yes.
Brewster. That's
Yes.
on Tuesday, 7 a.m. Early in the morning. Wake up and meditate.
That's right.
We didn't get to talk about the thing that you do. Music. Is that what you call it? Music tape? But anyway, let me finish this announcement. I'm getting excited. And I want to talk about that, but we don't have the time.
That's fine.
And then on Tuesday in the evening, 6 p.m. Pacific time, all of this time, I'm giving you specific time, is Jeff Kushner. You are soaking in it. You
Yes.
are what you're looking for. And Moni mixes with DJ Moni on Wednesday at 1 p.m. And of course, you have soulful music and conversations with Rickie Byars Beckwith and yours truly, Life Coach Ade. And on Thursday, we have The Healing with Dorothy James at 6
Yes.
p.m. Pacific. So if you want to get more of this juicy stuff, you know where to go. And on Friday, we have Step In with Inspiration with Norma
Yes.
Choser. Whew.
Yes.
There's some great people going on here. And Saturday, if
Yes.
you want to get into this, do you want to awaken, if you want to enlighten, if you want to raise your vibration once you've gone through the week. And on Saturdays, you have Awaken Pillow Talk with John and Kathy Stringer. That's every first Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific. And then you have Take a Moment for Health with Dr. Lori. Moments of wellness to boost your day. Everything you need is right here, right now. You don't even have to go anywhere else. Just keep coming back. But God is about diversity. So we don't mind if you try everything else. You can check out my podcast every Tuesday,
Yes.
10 a.m. Pacific time. All the other time zones, figure it out. Anyway, Dorothy, anything you want to
Okay.
share? You want to share with our listeners and maybe what you're up
No.
to, what you're
It's,
creating?
no,
I know you're creating
it's
stuff.
been a beautiful conversation. Musictation was what you were, music is my traditional healing modality. Music,
Mm,
nothing does it like music for me.
yes. Because that's where God is. God is the
Yes,
music.
yes. I want to thank you and Rickie for inviting me today.
Oh,
And
you're welcome. Thank you for saying yes.
my pleasure.
And Ricky will be back next week.
Yes.
And Jeff will be back. Jeff is the man with the voice. I can't do Jeff's voice. He has a deep voice. But one day, maybe I'll perfect it. Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back next week. Love you, my dear sister.
Love you too, Ade. Love
Mm,
everybody in the B Hood.
yes,
Love you
yes,
guys.
yes. So share the show, like it. That's how you get more people to listen to it. That's how you get the algorithm to say, oh yeah, we need to spread the word. Spread the word, share it, like it, join us. July 18th, right? Rickie's coming back with that one says Sanctified Saturday, but it's not. Rickie's show is moving back. The B Hood is moving back to Sunday, July 18th. So don't forget that. All right, we're out of here. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. And I thank God for you. And we're out. Peace and blessings.